The mother of the Irish
I was
one.
actually thinking of putting Derrick Henry at fullback and Mariota at running back. But we'll see how that goes.
All right.
Ryan Suckup at quarterback. Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, let's
Put
move on
DeMarco at
to
quarterback.
we're gonna move on to the Jaguars. The Jaguars are at the being helmed by King Los in Madden 18. They're
I
number
don't mean
one.
to cut you off, Gato.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna say bye to everybody. I'm out of here. I gotta take off.
All right, take it easy.
Thanks for
So
the time,
just
Nigel.
everyone in the Squadcast, just short. Thank you for listening. These guys, Acid, Gato, they hold it down every week. If you guys have any questions, message us. We're here to help. Please message us. We want to hear feedback on the rules. Want to hear feedback on the league. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Nigel.
Yeah, thank you.
See, I don't get any help.
he
Fuck you,
ignored.
Miguel.
I love you
man.
too, Nigel.
All right, so we're gonna look at the Jaguars when we're still looking at the South here. They acquired Calais Campbell, and he's their #1 overall player at 91, right end. Key additions on both sides of the balls, or both sides of the ball, was the pro for the Jaguars this season, off season. They acquired another cornerback, Barry Church and Campbell. Also 2 new tackles, 1 rookie, some bookends for the line there. Negatives, quarterback play of Blake Bortles, loss of Cyprian was replaced though with Church. You have to wonder if Bortles will be able to hold on to the ball there for the Jaguars. But overall, with the additions on defense and the new tackles, I'd give them an A-. For the Colts, I'm going to give them a B+ offseason grade. Andrew Luck's their top player at 90 overall. Pros for their offseason. Defensive overhaul, new look pass rush, got a little faster. Negative, the O-line's really shaky and needs some work, but plenty of weapons on offense. You still got Luck, T.Y., you name it. Now, to round out
I like how you saved Houston for last, of course.
and right now we don't have a Colts user, but Texans, Dizzy, this is Los's brother. I'm going to give them a B- off-season grade. J.J. Watt at 98 overall, right in. No more Brock Osweiler. That's the big pro here. Hello, Deshaun Watson. Negative, did they dig too deep of a hole getting rid of Brock? The play of Watson will ultimately determine that. But that's a large situation, which I hope they don't have too much of a cap hit going in for Dizzy there. That could be a bit of a handicap. So while we're still on the topic of South, I'm gonna go NFC South. Acid, your Falcons, I'm giving them a B off-season grade. You got Julio at 98 overall as your top receiver and your top overall player. From what I was looking at, your pros, you have no major losses to your team, but due to cap salary issues, there was subtle free agency pickup in Dontari Poe, but not many other moves were able to be made. And you have a little bit of a lack on the O-line. Do you think that O-line lack of depth will affect your running game going into this first season in Madden 18?
Well, actually, I looked at my offensive line. I actually feel like my offensive line is more of a strength. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe I see it differently than you.
It might have been an
the
old
only thing
report, too, I was reading.
Well,
Or
okay,
older.
my left tackle my left tackle, who I was really looking forward to using, I think lost some points going into this year.
Okay.
In Jake Matthews, he's a 77 overall, which that's huge. I thought he was going to be an 80-something. But my right tackle's an 87. I still, with Ryan Schrader. Alex Mack is still probably one of the best centers in the game, 91.
Definitely.
And I still got Andy Levitri, who's an 84 left guard. So when you look at it, I mean, I'm only really hurting at the right guard spot, and that's probably the easiest one to replace.
Nice.
So
How do you feel about actually having a well, I mean, you had a consistent division in Madden 17. How do you feel about a new division for Madden 18 and the competition level? Like, do you think it'll be tougher than last? Or I know you had Dizzy in your old division.
I'm glad to be done with Dizzy for a while. I had a couple too many close games with him at the end, and definitely not going my way ever. I I know the Panthers user probably better than I know my own playbook.
X-Slick52.
That's kind of the that's my buddy. He was the original Titans user for
Okay.
everybody out there. So he likes to run heavy, plays very good defense. Sounds like Carolina to a T, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, that's the next team we got on our list here. But do you feel as if you're facing a lot of pressure with having a team that's one of the more elite level teams in Madden 18? Do you feel the pressure to succeed now, or are you in the same format of I'm going to build this team to what I want it to be, or do you think you're ready to win right now with what you're presented with?
Well, last year I had a problem with my quarterback situation. I tried to fix it right away with Mariota. Then I tried to bring in Winston, which it helped, but it never got over that hump. And with Matt Ryan, I basically said, I want myself to have a top-notch quarterback that I can trust in, throwing downfield, not limiting myself, and I can make the throws, but if my quarterback can't, then it don't matter,
Right.
And I probably should have cut bait with Winston way sooner than I did, but I went down with the ship, and at that point, it was over.
Right.
I won't make that mistake again. I have a young team. Even if it takes a year or two, I feel like this is a team that I can build around for a good 5 to 7 years, depending on how long we go with Madden for this season or for this year.
I can see us lasting a little while, especially if we get started. I mean, we'll be started before October, so I could see us getting to maybe 8 seasons or so.
And I won't have to worry about home field weather problems. Dome.
Right.
I'll have the nice dirty bird jerseys. I mean, I'm happy. So.
All right.
But how about that Tampa Bay? Since I'm gonna throw it right back at you, co-partner.
All right.
We finally we're in a division together. So.
Yes, sir. The Squadcasts are going to get more interesting at least twice a season. That's for sure.
I just was ripping on your boy too, Winston. So tell me why you feel good about him.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you what Bleacher Reports had in a synopsis. Had the Buccaneers roughly had a B+B offseason grade. Mike Evans and Gerald McCoy are their top players, tied with 90 overall. They upgraded offensive weapons, adding rookies O.J. Howard and Godwin. They also added savvy veteran and speed demon Deshaun Jackson at wide receiver. However, they're a little limited on halfback situation. Not a real playmaker back there, but it's by committee. And left outside linebacker wasn't necessarily addressed in the offseason very well. I think Jameis has a plethora of options. He has a good offensive line, not great, but good in front of him. Left tackle probably could use some work. That's going to be one of the main things that are addressed within the first season, as well as that outside backer position outside Kwan Alexander. So I like what we have. There's some stiff competition with the Panthers and the Falcons, inherently with their team value and the good users they have. And then the Saints, they seem like they're a bit aging, but with Spider at the helm, it's going to be a hard division, but it's going to be fun. And I think that's going to be the most important aspect of this.
Do you think Spider takes over right away? I mean, before all those guys retire on him? That's the question I wanted to bring up.
Well, since we're talking about Spider, we'll jump straight to the Saints. 92 overall, Drew Brees and Cameron Jordan are the top 2 players for the Saints. They had a B- offseason grade. They addressed defensive needs at cornerback, linebacker, and safety. And they also added all-day Adrian Peterson at halfback. And I was looking at the stats on here earlier. He's still got a 90 speed, so that means that no matter how old he gets, unless he gets hurt, for that franchise, he's not going to digress. His acceleration might be a little lower, but still, that top-end speed won't go any lower. But the negatives, injury bug could be a problem for the O-line. And, I mean, you can't ignore that they lost Brandon Cooks. But to answer your question, we're going to have to really play hard to for Spider not to come in and take control real early. And I think that the Panthers will be able to help out with that defense.
His team, in my opinion, will last as long as Drew Brees lasts. I mean, he basically had to fight that beast with Big Ben. When's he going to retire? And finally, when he did, he gets the best quarterback in the draft ever. So that scares me probably more that, he'll probably be planning already beforehand for his replacement, which...
Yeah, and I mean, he has a good track in the draft. I mean, Josh Tootin, he drafted that superstar in Madden 17, and he was better than Big Ben. So, I don't think that he's going to be too much of a detriment with that old roster. I think he's a savvy enough player to rebuild. The Panthers, let's jump to Slick's team. They had a B- offseason grade, 98 overall in the middle linebacker position. Luke Kuechly holding it down. They have a revamped the halfback position. They got McCaffrey, and they have Samuel as well. And they resigned their defensive tackle short. Negatives, questionable O-line that has overpaid pieces. I don't think... Did game freeze? Can you hear me?
No, we're good. We're good. I'm here.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just playing a game for us to watch while the squad... Okay, there it goes. It froze up for a second after halftime. I don't know. I was in spectator mode. Maybe it didn't have a halftime show. Anyway, yeah, the Panthers, they have a pretty solid defensive unit. Revamped halfbacks. Cam Newton's still there. I think that really gives the team enough offensive firepower to win quite a few games. I mean, that defense is going to keep it in there, the team in there.
I think what the Panthers are going to do, they're going to stay in every game. Every game is going to be close, and it's really going to come down to is, can he figure out how to pass the ball? Which, that's always been kind of his bugaboo, but he's never really had a quarterback like Cam Newton. Mm-hmm. So he's more of a pocket passer kind of guy, but I think he'll adapt really quick, and he has a lot of weapons. There's no doubt. So he'll have to learn real quick how to use them.
I'm definitely excited for the competition in the NFC South. Now we're on the topic of NFC. Let's jump north. I believe we still have Miguel in here. He is the head user for the Bears. The Bears' number one player is their left guard, 89 overall, Josh Sitton. I don't know. This could go up in the air. This grade could easily change, but I gave the Bears a D for their offseason grade. They spent a large amount of money to shore up their secondary, but an expensive up-in-the-air quarterback situation is what faces the Chicago Bears. Now, Miguel, what are your intentions for your quarterback position, and what are you going to do to add some weapons to that offense?
Okay, for the quarterback, obviously, I'm not going to start Mike Glennon. I am going to roll with Trubisky.
And let's make this really apparent. That's going to be an $18.5 million backup.
Yep.
I just had to say that. I just had to bring that up.
He's not even good enough to trade bait anybody.
You never know.
Sounds like you're gonna have a Colin Kaepernick situation like I had, where you just had to cut bait.
It's gonna be like that. I'm gonna have to either eat the penalty or just keep him on my team until he dies.
Well, you're always in the playoff hunt too. So I mean, if something happens to Trubisky, you might be better off just holding on.
Very true. Very true.
He's not a bad. He's good. He has a good arm. He's more of a middle of the field kind of passer, and I'm kind of good at that. So he's not worthless per se, but he's not going to be my starter. He's going to be a very expensive backup.
Now, looking at the rest of the NFC North, who do you envision to be your... I mean, I already know you're going to tell me Jamie's going to be your number one rival.
I was actually going to say I think the hardest person... I think Jamie's always going to put a good fight, but now that the old Bengals users in my division...
Osborne's the Vikings.